Good evening, everybody. Elizabeth Diamond here, your host tonight with the Diamonds Forever 3113 show. 31, rawr, the lion taking dominion. That's you, and all of us, me, taking dominion here on Earth. Why? Because we live here. So we have dominion. We can victoriously declare, and take dominion by, one thing, praying the law of one out of our mouths and hearts. And 13, Christ consciousness, our supernatural, natural self, learning about that and unlocking it in us, because it is in us. It doesn't run away. It's always been there. We're just unlocking it with help with our brothers and sisters, galactic-wise. So welcome. I did, this is August 15th, 2016. I did blog Benjamin Fulford report tonight. It's up on the blog. That's Diamonds with an S, forever, 31.blogspot.com. And on that blog, you can find the 2 YouTube channel links on the right-hand side, Cynthia's link, Chris's link, other links, and I do blog at least try once or twice a week. But that is going to get to bother, because we're morphing. We're always changing. We're limitless, you guys. You diamonds out there. So welcome, everybody. Tonight we've got a great lineup. Oh, I wanted to give tonight's reference show, and this is number 480 pound, reference number 480 pound. So those who have shows this week, tonight's is 480 pound. And the recorded line, as we wait for it to go up on the YouTube, it's good to have. You can listen to all 480, most of them, on the recorded line. The first 100 or so they're on the recorded line. You can listen to all of them on the recorded line. Elizabeth, what am I thinking? Anyway, the recorded line always is 641-715-3813. For those who listen to YouTube, you can always call that recorded line. And then you put in the pin 883267 pound, and then a reference number 480 pound. Tonight's show, and you go backwards from there to listen to other shows. So one more time, the recorded line, 641-715-3813. All righty, you diamonds. So tonight's lineup, we're going to do the candy shop news, and I have something, and then Cynthia for about 20, 30 minutes, and then we have Chris and Katryna tonight to galacticize with our brothers and sisters to help initiate that and bring that through. Without them and without Cynthia, with Cynthia, Marianne, we learned the energies of just even today, now, and this week for a tool to help us not just get through, but to work with the energies coming in to grow, because we're never stagnant. Unless you want to be stagnant, but you don't have to be stagnant, because we're limitless forever and ever, never, never, never. There may be times you want to be stagnant for a while and stay in same thing. Then you get tired of it. Then you go on to something else, because we're limitless. That's what it's going to be like in the golden age. Changes abound in our life all the time. You know, we won't have to stay at a business all our life to make a living. We could start a business and watch it flourish and get all our ooey-ooeys that are inside of us out, and then you get kind of bored or want to do something else, create something else. Well, then you go do it and leave that as a legacy. Anyway, welcome, everybody. Okay, well, let's start with the candy shop news. Come on, Candy, are you there in your candy shop?
Candy is here in the candy shop with her great big jar of treats.
Okay.
Wow, and I've just switched it all around after listening to your inspirations there. gosh, isn't it something that some people might get bored or want to become stagnant? Well, this was the theme in Star Trek Voyager that I was listening to this weekend. You know, folks, I'm listening to all of them from season 1, you know, that was produced 20 years ago, and it was so informative to tell us about the plasma energy that Kesh talks about, and so many things about our universe that was so, I can't recommend the show too much to our listeners to kind of visualize what we're talking about. But the one I listened to was called Death Wish, and it was about Q from the Continuum, and it was a copycat Q, and the theme was that these immortals, the Q, got bored. They had lived forever, and they had thought they had done everything in the universe that they could do, and they were getting bored. And this one guy had a death wish. He wanted to die, and it's so sad for those of you who've listened to my show that I did last week, reading from the Owaspy, and reading that beautiful poem about how the Creator just creates these endless worlds and galaxies, and it goes on, and everything is so beautiful, and there's so much to do, there's so much beings to help, experiments to do, beauty to appreciate in the vast universe, and that it is never ending. And it's a dichotomy with what the writers were trying to say, that being immortal was actually boring and could become boring, and of course the Q envied humans because we supposedly had an end, we supposedly died, and so it was all a lot of food for thought in the show called Death Wish. Well, I folks know that I'm on a spiritual retreat here in my little community, and besides having some folks living here permanently, and I got another one today, so that's kind of fun. He's going to live in the RV outside, not in the house, and but I run my bed and breakfast, and my guest last night was from London, England. And one of the first things she said was, "I'm a medium." And then she saw my home altar with the Zarathustran wheel and the candles and the incense, and she took pictures of my great big magical ward, the flag of the Draco language of the Law of One. She asked me so many questions, and she tape recorded the Law of One as I explained it to her, all about Anastasia and the raw material, and so it was just fabulous to be able to talk in person to someone who was anxious for knowledge and had lots of questions. And she shared her near-death experience. You know, I had a near-death experience, as did Chris, that jump-started our psychic abilities. And her experience was mine. I had one when I was 16 and another one when I was 40, but hers was when she was 2.5, and she was she died, and the doctors gave up and went out of the room and told her parents that, sad to say, she had died, but she was floating around above her body, and she saw what a sweet little girl it was, and she was talking to the beings there. And they said, you know, if you want to go back and finish this lifetime, you have to go right now. And she thought that girl looked so sweet at 2.5 that she didn't want it to die. And it was laying there all gray. And so she said, yes, I'll go back. And she opened her eyes and shocked the doctor. And he went racing down the hall to tell the parents, you know, not to freak out, that their daughter was really alive. And so And then she felt all the pain from her illness, and she thought, oh my God, I made a mistake, because it was so wonderful in heaven, and it was just so beautiful and warm and loving, and she thought years later her parents said, you know, when you were a little girl you died, and she popped up and they said you had a near-death experience, and she popped up and said to them, no, I died. I really did die. And that triggered her memory of the things that in this story, and she was wondering about, you know, what is her purpose in life. But I was trying to give her some guidance and share. And I was so surprised. I mean, she lived all her life in downtown London until she moved to America 6 years ago. And she just couldn't believe my big, beautiful garden and all the squash and okra. And she said, you grew these things from a little tiny seed? I couldn't believe it. I've never had anybody express amazement that plants grow from little seeds. Oh, well, I hope you find that story interesting, and think back of your own experiences and your path and your purpose, and think about having a B&B. I've been trying to encourage my daughter and my niece about having one, and they said, oh, we're just so scared to have strangers in our home. And I said, well, you know, you could only accept the women, as guests. Get started. Have some fun. Have some adventures. All righty. Well, Benjamin Fulford, she has blogged, and he often ends his shows with a positive affirmation. And although his shows aren't going to be live because he's on vacation in Canada from Japan, very informative, and reminds us how much manufacturing we were doing in 1976, and then the cabal set their goal to transfer the manufacturing out of our country. And now we only have 9% manufacturing. Everybody's in the service industry, and show the charts about how many trillions of dollars we owe the rest of the world because of the trade imbalance. But I thought I would play just a little bit of his positive affirmation and then end it. And remember, folks, a week ago we had all these technological problems, but on the Wednesday show I played the entire Benjamin thing without technical problems. So I guess maybe they're watching Elizabeth and the wonderful work she does. Okay, let's see what happens here for this positive affirmation. I think, did I goof it up? Oh, I think I goofed it up. Well, there is so much going on, and the exposés from the DNC, how that Realist News got a spy in there and got everything revealed, the details and the frustration, and they don't think Hillary can even stand up for 45 minutes, let alone 90 minutes, like it's supposed to be in the debate later in September. It's supposed to be 3 debates between Hillary and Trump, and there's supposed to be 1 debate between the vice presidential candidates. So we've got a lot of things going on. As soon as the Olympics are over, we'll probably be seeing a lot of shaking up and going on. Well, I'm doing my sun gazing, which I talked about in my show last week, and if you do it right and do it safe, I think there are going to be wonderful health benefits and spiritual benefits, because they want you to do your earthing, connect with Mother Earth, connect with Father Son at the same time, and you enlarge your pineal gland, and we all have more of a direct connection with Source and with the whole universe, because we are one. Elizabeth, putting the lid back on the candy jar treats, and hope folks can meditate on some of those thoughts.
Don't leave yet, Candy. Yeah, and we'll be in all those areas. We'll be starting to see even more Three Stooge effects and just things we haven't seen before. It makes you wonder. A sign and a wonder makes you wonder what's going on. But you can wonder, and you might get an answer because wondering is asking. Hey, Candy, before you leave your candy shop, can you turn around and go get that beautiful diamond jar over there, please? And hold it for me for a minute. Tell me when you got it.
I got it.
Oh, cool. Hold on to it for me for a minute. What I'm going to bring in is I found a code breaker, you guys. It's a code breaker for you. So I'm going to. It's just really short, and it's a diamond nugget. It's in that diamond jar. So let me bring that forth to you. Get a pen and a paper. You're going to want to write it down, and if not, you can come back and re-listen to it because it's a challenge for you, Diamonds. So now, Candy, could you open the lid of the candy jar for me?
Sure, I've got it open now.
Oh, there's that diamond nugget. Did you hear it? Here it is. Okay, it's beautiful. It looks like that big one diamond with the rainbow coming out on there. Let me open it up. Oh, there it is. Okay, you guys. Oh, I'm getting a call. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, am I still here? So you guys want to write this down. This is really short, but you probably want to come back and rewrite it down when you have a time. All right, take a deep breath and go to your hearts now. So it's kind of like a poem. Let me just read it. The Father takes pleasure in the Son, and the Son takes pleasure in the Father. The Mother takes pleasure in the daughter. The daughter takes pleasure in the mother. And with pleasure comes laughter. And with laughter comes joy. And with joy comes love. So I want to play a little short game right now with what I just read. I want to just go around Cynthia, Candy, Katryna, Chris, the Galactics, Marianne, Mayor. Anybody want to comment? What struck your heart when I read that? Let me read it one more time, and we'll go around. Okay, the Father takes pleasure in the Son. The Son takes pleasure in the Father. The Mother takes pleasure in the daughter, and the daughter takes pleasure in the mother. And so with pleasure comes laughter. And with laughter comes joy. And with joy comes love. Who wants to take a shot? Just take a minute or two each or less, and we'll go around. You know, it's kind of like reading a deep book or a poet book, and you get a nugget out of that. So I want to go around, and then I'll bring some insights in, too.
Well, listen, Candy will start because I need to then pause and do my sun gazing just before the sun sets. But, you know, I was laughing with in a friendly fashion with my new British friend, Mary. You know, when she asked the questions about, you mean this great big tall okra plant came from a seed? Oh, we had so much fun laughing and sharing together and having a budding, loving relationship. And she irfs all the time, and it was just cool.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was great. What did you think of, Cynthia, Mayor, Marianne, Chris, Katryna? Come on in. Galactic.
I'm right here. I think it's common sense. I think it's just a sweet, poetic way of just saying what we're all thinking these days, which is more important. You know, material goods are waking up every morning looking forward to the whole day because you can do what makes your heart sing. And the answer is both. Everybody's got to have physical security, and they have to have emotional security. And emotional security is the freedom to be happy. And happiness is in the moment. It's a wellspring of the combination of the top 3 chakras and the lower 3, the top 3 being the father and the lower 3 being the mother. And the daughters are the creations, and the sons are the creations. And what we create every day should just be fabulous. It should just be kick-ass beautiful. I mean, whether it's cooking or fashion or gardening or meditating or, watching hummingbirds. I mean, whatever it is, should make our hearts sing. And that vibration of the singing heart is the greatest gift we can give to ourselves to go into youth and immortality as well as everybody else. That's my take.
Thank you, Cynthia. I got the title for this, The Singing Heart.
Yep. Yep.
Anybody else want to comment?
This is Katryna.
Come on, honey.
I got that it's just the father, the son, the mother, the daughter. They're symbolic. That it's one kind act, one person to another person showing love. By doing that, and you're doing kindness and showing love to your family, strangers, people you meet in the grocery store. Doesn't make any difference. When you're sharing that love between one another, that it makes you joyful, which is love. And if you're not in joy and you don't feel that, then you're doing something wrong in your life. So the way I picked up from it was that you should always be showing some act of kindness every day, not just to family, but to everybody you meet. That was what I got from it.
Thank you. See, this is so rich when we take something like little common sense to pick it apart. Chris, Marianne, Mayor, any galactics? Come on in.
This is Misty. I just want to say that was beautiful.
Oh, Misty, yes, comment.
Okay, so I was in and then I was out and then I came back in. So I've just heard what the last person just said, and it was just beautiful.
Did the action. You did the action of the number 8 and this what I just read. So you did your piece. That was great. In and I was out, and I was in and I was out.
There we
go. Thank you, Misty.
Hey, you're welcome. I offered to do a special kind of reading today, just if anybody wants later.
Huh?
I'm offering to do a special kind of reading before the show's over if anybody is interested.
Okay, sure. Don't let me forget. Marianne.
Oh. Yeah, just being in the flow and pulling in and just really being in the flow of the divine energy, the divine love, and each moment, whoever you're with, or in whatever you're creating, it's coming from your higher self going all the way back to the divine, and just it's unlimited, and you're constantly getting information, constantly bringing forth creativity. And Candy was talking about the show where they were, immortal, but they were bored, and we're not going to have that. We're going to be in the constant flow, and we're going to have immortality, and we're going to be creative in each moment because we are creators. And it's and it just brings a spark of happiness, a spark of joy. And when we are in that flow, we are bringing it down and flowing the love and the happiness out.
That's great. Yes. Thank you, Marianne. Wow, yes. Anybody else? And Chris, do you have a galactic, or Katryna or Cynthia that wants to add to this? Just, a minute or two, galactic brother and sister. Just a little circle. Yes. Or anybody from the audience. Just *6, you guys are open. Anybody have a comment of what I read? And we'll go further.
Hi, it's Sunny. I didn't get to say hi before.
Hi.
Hi, and glad to hear that Katryna and Chris are on again. And
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that it sounded to me like a spiral, a circular kind of a thing where the energy just perpetuates each other and it just keeps circulating and adding on. It's like a circle.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you're quite welcome.
Anybody else?
Idea, Elizabeth, a great idea. And by the way, Katryna is going to be my guest speaker this Wednesday, starting an hour later, folks. So
okay,
come back to the Diamond Network.
Yeah, on Wednesday at 8:30 Central. Yeah, hour later. Yay! Okay, is there anybody else that wants to comment on what I read? All right. So as soon as I wrote it, it came to me. It's actually what I got out of it is it's a word picture of feminine of the marriage inside of us, divine marriage inside of us, each individual, because it always comes back to loving ourselves, loving yourself, and okay. So the son and the father, the mother and the daughter. Those are the feminine and the male energies. But take this and just really meditate on this and ask your guides to help you bring these emotions in. And it sounds to me like the golden age relationship, pleasure. If somebody takes pleasure in somebody, you're having a relationship of some kind. And that pleasure then turns into laughter. And that laughter then turns into joy. And the joy then turns into love. Beautiful. So practice that inside of you as you take this. The challenge is to take this little reading and know, and let me repeat this 3 times because I think we've been programmed on this. Did you know happy is an emotion, energy in motion. Happy is an emotion. Happy is not a circumstance. Happy is not any circumstance in your life. It's an emotion. An emotion in any circumstance. You choose to be happy. It's mind over matter. And so my little pun on that is, remember, happy is an emotion. It's not a circumstance. So work on that emotion. Work on those emotions and use this poem to work on you, in that marriage in you. Ask for help with your brothers and sisters, your higher self, your galactics. You'll get inspiration. And by the way, my little word first is ha, P-P-Y, ha, P-P-Y, happy. Happy is an emotion. Remember that, guys. So I challenge you, like last week, throughout the day, at that time or at the end of the day, take 5 things within your day that you've thought of or experienced and give it thanks, give it gratitude, and love it. And then take this. And it's a beautiful bouquet of a feast for you all. The code breaker. It's a code breaker. Break the code. The singing heart code. Break the code inside you guys. And then I forgot now what I was going to share. Anyway, that's the diamond nugget. Maybe I'll remember. Anyway, okay, let's go and see Cynthia and get some energies what we're in this week, and we can put that in with our diamond code breaker and mix that in and see how powerful you are, everyone. You diamonds, I love you all. Come on, Cynthia, Marianne.
We're right here. And we've got to find divine fortune and contentment. See, there's the bark of confirmation. They've been totally quiet till I said that. But right now,
I'm kidding.
Okay, right now, Mercury is conjunct the vertex. The vertex in a chart is the doorway to higher consciousness. And they are exactly conjunct 21 Virgo. And this is the crux of the matter. Okay, Mare, would you read 21 Virgo?
Yes. Isserag, and their name is spelled Iserag. G, the angels of fortune and contentment. Beloved, and we ask you, Isarog, to be with us all. Beloved, we are angels of good fortune. We inspire such joy and contentment that only in your fondest dreams could you imagine such happens. The phrase, "for I've given you the spirit of joy," is in reference to our assignment. Through helping human beings understand and use qualities of Isarog, we bring success and well-being in endeavors for which our help is asked. Not only do we bring success, we bring it in such ways that it helps, not hinders, spiritual evolution and growth. Every letter in our name has been explained in other messages in regards to the divine qualities that it represents. Keep in mind that it is not only the letters themselves, but also the order in which they appear that is important. With each of the names of the heavenly hosts, the order of the letters is a map or blueprint for a journey in consciousness. The journey of Isarog is joyful as spirit and soul assimilate lessons to demonstrate divine contentment and good fortune. Isarog.
And I just want to quickly go through the letters. This is from the works of Franz Barden. You can get them at Amazon.com. I suggest getting the older books. They're not only cheaper, but I like the appendices better. The older, the better. But the newer ones are fabulous too. But anyway, it's one of my teachers, the one that replaced my spine. I had a double S-curve scoliosis in the mid-'80s. I was in my mid-30s. And in 5 weeks, I had a brand new spine. And it's perfectly straight to this day. But he said there were 10,000 books on Kabbalah, but only the ones by Franz Barden were accurate. So naturally, I had to go buy those books. And there's 4 of them, and I bought 4 sets of 4. And I've been studying them ever since. And when you get to the letters, each letter of the alphabet represents a divine quality or divine virtue. And so we're speaking of the heavenly host of fortune and contentment, and their name is Isarog, I-S-E-R-A-G. I is cause and effect. I is what your left kidney is made of, because we're made in the image and likeness of God. It's a light opalescent color. It has a musical note. It's a divine virtue of the earth element, and it is the divine virtue of cause and effect, or karma, where you can see that every cause has an effect. And it especially opens up the understanding of breath. And it brings forth memory, remembrance, and conscience. So that's the very first letter. Then you have S, which is all-penetrating divine will for the highest good of all concerned. Then you have E, which is omnipresence, where you feel yourself at one with everything. Then you have an R, which is clear inner guidance, which is where in every moment you can feel what to do. You have clear inner guidance. You're not doing what your mother did or your school buddies did or what everybody's doing on TV. You're following your own inner guidance. And then the next one is A, which is enlightenment. It's where you understand the original divine blueprints of creation. It's clear to you. It's as clear as everything. And you have clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. You're very creative. You're very eloquent. It's just a genius state. And it leads to the ability to recognize anything that's imperfect and to just let it go. And the very last virtue is G, which is grace and mercy. And that's an emerald green virtue. It's an air virtue. It is the virtue that forms your left eye. Whenever you have eye contact with anything, that part of you, which is divine grace and mercy, goes through your left eye. And so those are the virtues of these beings of fortune and contentment. And right now, as we speak, they are conjuncting. So, I've got like 20 minutes here. Marianne, can you just ask your inner guidance, since we just have 20 minutes, which one we should bring out next?
I just got the chart. Can you give me some choices?
Well, there is the part of fortune, which is music. There is Jupiter, which is our accumulated good fortune of all lifetimes as a collective, which is at the place of ground travel. You have the midheaven, which is the impact on the collective, which is orphans and exiles. Wow. In other words, right now, the cosmic forces at work are aiming toward healing the orphans and exiles of the entire planet. You've got the rising sign, which is travel, divine travel. You have the earth, which is music power. That's the second one. Earth is at music power. The part of fortune is at music. So obviously, y'all, if you're not doing music, either listening it or creating it, please do some music here. The sun is at the place of the Akasha.
Venus. Where's Venus at?
Oh, that's a good one. That's probably the most important one. Let's see. Venus is at the 13 Virgo. Oh, I'm not going to even tell you what it is. Let's read 13 Virgo.
Okay.
Venus. And by the way, y'all, all the occult people on this planet, whether they're light or dark, they go by the Venus thing.
Yep.
And Venus right now is at this degree, 13 Virgo.
That was my hit. Okay. Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Life is amazing.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. 13 degrees Virgo. Aljabol, the angels of sacred ceremony. And please be with us now. Beloved, we inspire sacred ceremonies. We inspire and protect holy ritual and ceremony throughout all time, from the most ancient past, now, and into the most distant future. People everywhere, in all cultures and situations, can access deity in these ways. The divine virtues are so profound, pure, and great that words cannot convey their scope or perfection. It is possible, however, to become one in consciousness with them. Humans are made in the image of God and experience unity with all in the Delta state that occurs each night and in deep, dreamless sleep. This state can also be known when awake through meditation. This experience is the ultimate purpose of ritual and ceremony, which can be thought of as analogous to a dream that carries the soul ever deeper into the dreamless state of original being. Through this cosmic union, all earth is blessed. Heaven and earth becomes one. The particular forms that ceremonial interactions take and the appropriate qualities needed at any specific time are also inspired by the heavenly hosts of Aljabol. Whether in a great cathedral, in a ritual that has existed for hundreds of years, or in the outback, where a beloved companion faces a daunting task and prayers are offered for assistance. Wherever and whenever a ceremony is performed, we are present with inspiration and empowerment. By attuning to the virtues of Al-Jabal and asking for assistance from the heavenly host, ceremonies can be more easily created and understood, bringing through miracles. All that I do, you shall do and more. Whatever is willed results in thought. Whatever is thought results in feelings. And whatever is felt results in new physical realities. An important ritual for merging individuals with divine consciousness is meditating on the ancient language. Once this is encompassed, all other rituals and ceremonies can be more easily performed as well. For this reason, we wish to explain more about this process. Even though each letter corresponds to a particular organ, all letters belong to one of the four elements, or the Akasha. The elements these elements each relate to an area of the human body temple. Fire letters are in the region of throat and head, with a sense of warmth, expansion, and electricity. Air letters are imagined in the area of the lungs, with a sense of ease and relaxation. And water letters belong in the abdomen area, with a sense of coolness. Earth letters are in the feet and legs, imagined with a sense of weight and gravity. And it goes with the different letters of Akasha, fire, air, earth, and water. And we won't go into that, but I'll just continue on. When exercising the cosmic language in your imagination, see each letter shining from a sun in the area of the body, filling the corresponding organ with its virtue. The benefits that accrue from using this art of healing with the cosmic language are unlimited. When you pray for help and illumination, we interact directly, inspiring connection between mind and heart. The heart's electrical field is many times stronger than the brain's electrical field. So when a heart of love is in harmony with mind, the results are many times more powerful. The neurological bridge connecting the two hemispheres of the brain can be activated by moving the eyes back and forth, as in REM sleep, allowing both voluntary and involuntary nervous systems to work hand in hand. Perceiving with right brain intuition and feelings, and left brain meditation and deep inner thought, combined with knowledge of the cosmic language, while being centered in the heart, enhances true communion in ceremony and ritual. Relax. Find balance between keeping attention focused on prayer and a virtue, and allowing a flow by using eye movement and whole being awareness. This way, whatever images and feelings, which is right brain, and thoughts and memories, which is left brain, spontaneous arise can flow easily and unhindered. Be encouraged. The cosmic language is a natural ability of humankind. Practice does make perfect. As with learning any new skill, first attempts may be awkward. Be patient and take your time. Ask for assistance from the heavenly host. Through invoking us and use of the cosmic language, rituals and ceremony change reality in the invisible as well as the visible worlds simultaneously. And that is Venus right now at
That's
13
Venus.
degrees.
And so the main thing to remember is what Elizabeth was saying. The emotions govern the quantum field, and that is straight from the scientists through decades of trillions of dollars of research. They discovered that whoever was working with the particle accelerators, their emotions determined the outcome. They proved it, and there were books written about it. And so if you're running negative emotions, if you're running any negative emotion whatsoever, you are drawing out of the quantum field your worst nightmare. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the key is to get a few basic emotional skills so that when the negative feelings hit, you don't inadvertently shoot yourself in the foot. Now, inadvertently shooting yourself in the foot, and then I'm going to make this quick so we can get over to Chris, but is either to deny the emotion, try to stop it, deny it, medicate it, suppress it. That will not work. And the other mistake people make is acting it out, committing suicide, getting angry at the dog, quitting the job, getting sick, whatever. What you do with emotions is you thank them. You thank them because they are teaching you important lessons about life. And the minute you thank anything, you create a field of non-resistance, which is what you want. When you're working with electromagnetic energy, you want a medium that carries the charge like gold. And then once you set up a field of non-resistance by thanking it, no matter what it is, a feeling, a robber's coming to kill you, whatever, your daddy raped you when you were 3. You thank the feeling, you thank the people, you thank the whole event. That sets up a field of non-resistance, and it's in the Bible. It says, give thanks for all things, for that is my will concerning you. All things work for good. So you just take it on faith. You give thanks for everything. That sets up a field of non-resistance, and then you can change it because there's no resistance. And, of course, what Liz and I and everybody are saying over and over on this call is that when you get that field of non-resistance through being thankful instead of fearful or in denial or acting out, then you just go in there with the law of one. You just go in there, to the feeling, to the memory, to the event, whatever, and you just say, I'm really thankful for you. I've learned a lot, and I'm asking for your highest good. Because we're all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed, which means if you're harming me, it's coming back and harming you. And when one is helped, all are helped, which means if you get healed, it'll heal me and it'll heal you too. And you just do the law of one, and it reprograms energy on every level, down to the dark matter level, all the way up to the vast reaches of space and the high intelligences. And the only way you're going to ever know if that's true is to try it out. And the place to try it out is with your own stuff. Whether it's physical stuff, emotional stuff, mental stuff, or spiritual stuff, whether it's in you or others, you just, give thanks for it, whatever it is. And then ask for the highest good of all concerned and sit back and see what happens. And it'll work or it won't. And only time will tell.
And if it keeps wallowing, what I do, I smile. I crack a smile on my face because when you smile, you feel happy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Smile. I smile and I love it. And every time I love something like that, Cynthia, lately, I see like an L pushing it away, pushing it. It's like love. An upside down V or something is weird. Like a piece of equipment is weird. So love it, you guys. After you're all done and you still feel, love it. Pretend like a big smiley face. Crack a smile. Close your eyes. Just love it. I'm sorry. There you go.
That's high magic. The energy field of the heart is 5,000 times stronger than any of the other chakras, including the brain. And that's on very sensitive instruments. It creates a tube torus, which is basically a wormhole into another reality. So when instead of trying to judge other things or resist it or logically understand it or blah, 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 if you just bless it with love, if you can train yourself, that's the letter J in the cosmic language. You just bless it with love. And then just see what the results are over time. And then like a scientist, you'll know exactly where you stand on the love issue. Like what we used to do, I remember it, one of our teachers, he would take us to this really gross part of town where you just absolutely don't go. And he would have us stand outside, but in the shadows, across the street from this bar. This rowdy bar where everybody was very violent. It was just a bad section of town, and people would go in that bar and they'd get drunk. And there were fights and broken bottles. It was really a bad vibe. And he would just have us sit there and watch for a while. And then he'd say, okay, now I want every one of you, there'd be 3 or 4 of us, to just go in your heart. Feel the love in your heart. Remember loving your pet cat when you were little, or remember a beloved parent or friend or fairy tale. Just go in your heart and feel love. Now send that love over there to the bar and permeate everything in the bar. Permeate the walls, the floors, the bottles, the chairs, the people. Permeate all their emotions, permeate their minds, permeate their spirits, permeate all their lifetimes. Permeate everything connected to them. And we'd do that for about 5 minutes. And I'll tell you what would happen is, first off and foremost, they would start singing in there, these drunken songs, and they'd have their arms around each other, singing these songs, and then they'd start stumbling out the door, falling all over themselves, saying, hey, buddy, can I help you get a ride home? Hey, buddy. They were just the best of friends. These guys who were just at each other's throats suddenly would change in about 5 minutes. So until you experience some experiments like that, it's all just kind of rhetoric. But once you do that a few times, it becomes very impressive.
One more thing. Take all what you've heard in all these shows and make a game plan for yourself. Take one day after you find the game plan and start practicing the whole day with the good emotions. Nothing's good, nothing's bad. With the golden age emotions, happy, pleasure, laughter. And you think of a place in your history where you felt that emotion, or go to the internet and find that emotion, how you feel when you feel that, and then remember that as you're meditating, that emotion, so that you remember that emotional love, emotional happy, pleasure. Find a game plan. Challenge yourself to be in the golden age energies for a day or 2 and see what happens to ya.
Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that story. That
cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to wonder why I'm a hippie artist, man, I tell you some of my stories. It's like, what choice do I have? This thing, though, tonight with the Vertex, that we have to have fortune and contentment. We have to have abundance. We have to have our needs met, and we have to have contentment. And it's the true contentment. It's the contentment of waking up every day with a smile on your face, going to bed at night, grateful for that day, and being secure and safe, having your needs met. And then the pathway, which is the Venus, which is ceremony, sacred ceremony. So, y'all, it can be your own private ceremony. You can do it on the bus. Just inwardly. But do your ceremonies and ask for heart's desire, because when one is helped, all are helped. If you're happy, if you're vibrating at a high frequency, you're helping all of us. So I'm just going to turn this over. Amir, our Marianne, if you have anything you want to wrap it up with, that's pretty much my hallelujah chorus there.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Mary's good too, so we're all going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, wonderful, you guys. As always, as usual, everything's syncing up. And I don't know if you guys have been noticing in your life. I don't do a lot of computer work nowadays, recently. But when I do, like I noticed a Mandela effect. When one person, it's like it goes, people start bringing it out all around the world. So there's great big groups now that are experiencing collective consciousness changes in themselves. And then the other one is, we've been talking about sacred sexuality and twin flames. Well, there's a big collective conscious group posting YouTubes about, one posted a twin flame tarot card reading for August and September. So anyway, that's one of the questions I want to ask the Galactics, because that seems to be like a big theme coming up. Is that the next thing coming up, the twin flames coming together, or is there something in between for collective consciousness growing? Anyway, and then when I'm thinking about this journey, about making a challenge for me, like we talked about, I stumble on a YouTube, and it gives me an idea for my challenge. And so what's happening to me happens to you guys. Notice that. It's really magical. Okay, so we have Katryna and Chris. Are you guys both here?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Chris and Katryna. And I thought we'd bring Katryna in, and then if Misty was still here, she wanted to read a card for the audience. That takes like 5 minutes, and then we'll go to Chris, or however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, I'll start out
Mom?
because he'll probably have some things to add on to what I'm saying, because we kind of experienced it together.
Well, before we'll start, catch us up on your trip. How was your move from Nebraska to Arizona, and then you can keep going of what you want to talk with.
Well, the trip is beautiful to get here, because it's hard to drive, because everywhere you look there's some more beauty that takes your breath away. But I've been compelled since the 1990s to come to Prescott, Arizona, and now that I'm here and I see where I'm at and what I'm living in, which I call a safe zone, I'm in total gratitude. And it is a beautiful place with friendly people, and there's not a place you can turn your head that there isn't a beautiful view and a wonderful, beautiful energy. And I really feel that I was compelled and almost motivated to move here. I've backed out many times coming here, as Chris knows, but we're finally here, and I think we're going to be able to do some of our best work here. The energies are so high. But the first thing I noticed after I got out of cardboard, bubble wrap, and newspaper was I'd be sitting at the kitchen table, and I'd look up, and this tall being, which I thought was just a normal-sized being, would run past my kitchen window. And tall and thin, sandy hair, and just running so fast. And I'd get up and go look out the window, look out the back porch. Wasn't there. I'd notice it out the front door. Same kind of a being. Outside, I'd see him rush past the fence, and I understood and started to hear a channel come through, and I wasn't quite sure who it was. I eventually learned that it was a man by the name of Teeman, but they are called sentries. And in safe zones, these sentries, they are lookouts, they're watchers. They look out for anything trying to enter into the safe zone so that you always remain protected, even when you might let your guard down. And they're always patrolling our house, the whole neighborhood. I see them on the hills, and it's just an amazing feeling. So I thought they were very normal size until my husband, who's 5'10", came to the kitchen window where I was sitting in the same place as I saw this sentry. And all he could show me was his fingers, and on his tiptoes was the top of his head in the same window. So I knew this being was a minimum of 8 feet tall. And I kept seeing him all the time, and I kept getting this channeling of safe zones. They're going to start appearing all around the world. And I believe this is happening because it is sort of a reward for people who are evolving, who actually get it, and know that things are not the way they appear. And it doesn't mean that this place is any better or the people in it are any better than the rest of the population. I don't want to make it sound like that. But we are trying so hard to change the energy of this planet. I mean, Chris, me, everybody on this show, we're all trying to live a safe life, a life in the light. And I believe light workers and those are seeking safety and the light, and they want to be in safe zones. And I think you're going to find these appearing all over the world. And it's just, we've had people break through the safe zones, but they're always caught. They're never, they never stay for long. And then on one night, I had Timon come through. He, his name is spelled Timon, but it's pronounced like Teeman, and he calls himself a Sentry Recruiting Officer. And he says he's in charge of all the sentries, and he makes sure that they're covering the area sufficiently and warding off anything or anyone that has a negative agenda. And when I channeled him in our living room last week, both Chris and my husband were there at the time, I saw him come through in this dark blue crew neck top with tight dark blue pants. And on the side of his shirt, he had an emblem that was a crescent moon with 3 stars to the left of the crescent moon. And he was wearing a belt that also had 3 stars and what looked like a buckle. He said he was from Orion, and he helped with the transformation of safe zones. And he said that he was a recruiter for all sentries, and that he came through with warnings if somebody had broke through the barrier, and one had. And Timon was giving me a warning for Chris because there was a creature by the name of Xandar that had broken through our barrier. And he wasn't there to kill Chris, but he wanted to take Chris. And he said he was jet black in color and 13 feet tall. And he remained cloaked at both times, but can show himself for who he really is at will. And I had thought at first he might be a clone, but he is a Draconian, and he is an imposter, he says, Timon said, of the Olympian of Zeus. And his main warning was he was coming for Chris. And every night Chris takes a walk, and by the time he comes back, it's always dark outside. And Timon warned Chris to be aware of the dark. Timon said he was coming for Chris, and his mission was to find out where Chris was. Xandar is a fallen being and does not care about the safe zone or the treaty that was made with the Draconians. He's a rogue. And apparently there are many of those that do not obey the treaty. And this is no different than any species, whether you're human, no matter what alien species you are, there's always a rogue. You always have someone that cannot let go of the dark side. That's just the way it is. And he said Xandar and his people do not like Chris because he's screwing up their plans. And he wants to be Xandar wants to be a hero and wants some kind of promotion. And his mission, he took the mission, and he's hell-bent on taking Chris and using him for their own agendas. He said not to take him lightly. We will have guards assisting and protecting Chris and the property, and Chris has to do his part and remain on guard. And he said he cannot come into our house, but he exists outside at all times, because Xandar loves the dark. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because Chris has been warned each time he is around, and he has felt his eyes and his energy on him. And during this channel, Michael came in and with Timon, and some of the sentries came with him, and they were in our house reassuring that every form of protection would be taken to protect all of us. But until Xandar was caught and removed, we should be proactive in protecting ourselves and kind of always aware of our surroundings. And at that point, Timon and Michael also channeled us a new symbol, which was really exciting, called the clearing symbol. And Chris is going to send that to you, Elizabeth, and so you can get it up on the Diamonds Network. And which it can be used for clearing blockages like mental, internal, physical, brain. It also helps clear the sight, third eye, tremors, and helps with the nervous system. And they had me draw it out, and it's really a combination of 3 tones, 3 breaths, and 3 tones. There you go, your 3 again, your sacred 3, and then 9, your Trinity. And it's a beautiful. You can choose your tones that you want to use and how you want to breathe. But this symbol, just having it in front of you, I've been told, will clear your blockage. And so if you're having trouble moving on or getting bravery to do something like move to Prescott, you can maybe this will help a little bit along with the Law of One, because they were telling me there's a lot of symbols that will be coming through, that more and more symbols that will help the people that are in the light and in the know and spreading the light, love, and knowledge. And let's see, I'm having somebody come through. The safe zones can be created by anybody. They can be created by a group. I noticed we're talking about communes and groups of people and groups of light. That's so very important. The stronger the energy, the stronger the light is being put out into the universe, the more you draw protection and sentries and the higher beings to you. Because we are all of us that are really trying to spread the word and let people know that maybe things aren't just exactly the way we learned when we were young or a week ago. But we do have to be very much in gratitude and purity and really walk our talks, not just talk it. You know, a lot of people just talk, oh, I'm in the light, I'm protected. But you have to be that light. You have to wear that light. You have to transfer that light through divine breath, through a smile, through anything to anybody around you, and to nature, and to animals. You have to breathe in divine and breathe out divine. And by doing so, you're going to bring that protection to you. And also, it's this symbol that he was telling me also clears up the pituitary gland, where if you're having blockage for, trying to have some channeling come through or some new idea come through, this symbol is supposed to help. Now, I don't know whether the group has talked about safe zones, but
beautiful. And last Monday, I just want to say this is beautiful. And last Monday, Chris and the Galactics just came in, and there's they gave us a thing. Ask them for 3 purple stones. I forgot what they're called. Chris will know. Mm-hmm. And set up safe zones. I've done that here where I'm at, and a couple other places.
Mm-hmm. Amethyst.
The
darker the better. It doesn't have to be big, but the darker the better. And it's just also, you have to really believe. And that's what it is with everything. You have to believe and know you are protected. You have to be in total gratitude. I wake up every morning, and before I get out of bed, I sit on the side of my bed, and I thank the universe that I can see, that I can hear, that I'm able to get out of bed, that I have a healthy family, that I have a dog I love, and I'm surrounded by beauty. And I think that's the answer to most everything in life. You're given such wonderful blessings every day, and some people don't recognize them. And then if they do recognize them, they're not in gratitude for them. You have to be in gratitude, and it has to come from the heart, and it's got to resonate all the way through you and out of you and to the universe. And by doing so, I really think you begin to be that protection. I don't think it always just comes with saying I'm surrounded by light. You have to really become that person that everybody else wants to be and you want to be. Somebody that you're proud of, that's doing something that comes from the heart and is genuinely helping people, because that's what we're here to do. If you're a light worker, we're here. We're not here just to talk. We're here to help, and we're here to spread the light and become a unit that becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and spreads universal, multiversal throughout mankind, alien kind, everywhere. So my favorite word is gratitude, because if you don't see those blessings in your life every day, then all you're going to see is the non-blessings, and then we go right back to the point of being happy or being joyful. You can't be joyful unless you're giving thanks and gratitude for those blessings. And that's my philosophy. That's how I try to live my life. Chris, do you have anything to add about the safe zones or that symbol?
Yeah, let me see. I found out if put on the rocks that it becomes just as powerful as the other symbol, or the Law of One symbol. And it can be put on the stickers like I've been doing and all of that. And I've been able to use it in reads already. So it's worked out pretty well. And I also found out that, you are right that the safe zones can be generated in places. After I did a reading of somebody one time, by the time their second reading came around, I found one of these safe zones over their house. And I was told that they were being rewarded by basically holding the line, and by still being themselves, and by remaining as they were, regardless of what was coming in after them. So they were rewarded with this safe zone that just materialized over their home. So I know these things can just appear. And they can also be generated by taking elements from one safe zone to an area that is not. So like if I were to take rocks, or especially quartz, and put it in an area where I want a safe zone, and try to manifest that, then it'll come about. That is, if the guides want to actually put one there at the time too. They have to have there's a certain amount of energy conditioning that has to happen prior to that happening too. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to interject regarding moving. You know, the galactic historian Andrew Barthes a couple years ago said that people would be moving a lot, I forget the word, relocating, and like me, I've relocated several times, and I'm just trying to just go with the flow with that, because I'm used to have my own house, my own apartment. The last 3 or 4 places, it's just a room and a house, which I'm happy. I'm totally happy. I'm tired of every him-haw in the world right now, but
I think you're
just
compelled.
go with the flow, because it's part of the destiny. Huh?
Yeah, I think you're compelled. Huh? I think you're compelled to move. I think there's something inside of you that says you belong somewhere else. And a lot of people just block that. And I blocked it for years. But I do think you got to listen to that voice, because they're trying to help you and trying to get you into maybe an area where you can do more good than where you're at, because we can become stagnant without change. And it's very
even
important.
if they're working with the energies inside of you. They bring you to different places to work with the energies inside of you. Just thinking about loving yourself, even that, right?
Exactly. That's what I think too.
And we're at the time in the energies what Cynthia's been talking about, the square things. There's lots of squares where they practically force you. So you may be getting pushed even faster, like just if you're supposed to relocate, like in a forced situation. It's okay, just go with the flow, Right?
Well, we're all supposed to help with the full disclosure, and we have to be more powerful, and in areas where we can do our work without worrying who's coming at us or who's coming that doesn't belong there. And so this way, I don't feel like I can't get harmed. I don't feel like I can't bring in something negative. No, that's always a possibility. You always got to be proactive in that area. But I do feel.
So I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question for you. I wasn't at the conference, but Franco Di Nicolo, who's a unified soul, had a conference this weekend, and somebody commented what happened a little bit, just a little phrase. So I'm not sure, but I've followed Franco, and he's been on our show several times, so I'm just assuming this is what he's talking about. So they commented that Franco says that there's going to be thousands of people leaving now, leaving now. And now Franco's described what drop-ins are or whatever. So our bodies are just a tent. Walk-ins, drop-ins. Okay, I'll drop in. Anyway, so that tells me that three-dimensional energy completely is done. We've decided that's no more. We're just going to have 4 and 5 and building on 6. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's thousands going to die, but thousands will choose to go out of that body and another being come in. That's just really strange. Well, thousands of it. And do you know anything about that, Katryna? Or do you have anybody that can come talk?
I know about walk-ins and stuff like that, and I've seen it many times, and I think at one time I was. But I don't believe that groups of people are leaving. I don't think there's this major ascension where people are going to leave their bodies and move to another place or somewhere higher. I think that's all. If I
better clarify.
Yeah, please do, because I think I'm getting ascension mixed up with what you're saying.
No. So I'll clarify why the drop-ins is because the people in third dimension, they have decided, which is okay, they have decided they want to continue to experience like 3D experience, which there is another Earth. It's not as bad as here. That's what Franco says. So they're leaving because they decided they still want to experience this because they want to still grow. And then and ones that want to finish up and be enlightened are coming into those bodies. And that's like building up now, that energy. Just wondering if you had any information from Galactics, or maybe Chris will later.
Well, I believe that there are walk-ins. I believe people reach a point in their life, and I believe they're part of soul groups. And I believe that some people reach a part in their life where they can't go on anymore, that they really don't want to be here, but they don't want to take the cop out of suicide. They don't want to, walk out in front of a truck. They don't want to do anything like that, but some member of their soul group possibly would step in and help them complete their journey or their mission. So I believe that's possible. And I think those, not just recently, I think that's been going on for a long, long time. And it's...
Oh, it has. It's a natural of it. It has been going on for a long time. But what I'm saying in this month or so, it's like ramping up more so than ever. It was ramping up like a year ago when Franco was on, and now it's just another leg of ramping up and morphing. I just wanted to bring that in and just let people know there are things moving.
The energy's getting higher and higher and higher. And that's because of people like us and you and the listeners that are part of the cause of that, because we're really raising our energy, and we're facing the truth, and we're fighting the bad truths. And when you have so many people that are finally kind of waking up, that energy is going to get so high that, some people won't be able to handle it, and some people will choose to leave, and some people will choose to walk in. I believe that's completely true. What do you think, Chris?
Yes, actually, I feel that is completely true as well. I've actually heard some things about walk-in. Some of the different beings out there actually have talked to me about.
You guys are both on Skype. One of the Skype has to mute out because there's feedback. Katryna, just mute out while Chris is talking. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. I was wondering what that was. Okay. Several of the beings that I have encountered, they all have their own definition of what a walk-in is. There was a being by the name of, what was his name? His name was Zora. He was from Agartha. He explained it as members of the same soul grouping, interchanging in the same human form. Deidre explained it as many arms of the same core that can interchange. Some like beings like Odin have explained it as teeth in a large gear that's part of a much larger machine. It depends on which being you speak to, but they all kind of have a similar consensus with each other what walk-ins actually are. So yes, I agree with that.
Okay, is there anything else you want to bring in, Katryna? And then we'll go to Misty and Chris, or you can stay too and interact with Chris.
I just have one thing I'm going to put out there, and then I'm going to get off and let somebody else. But it was, I think it's kind of important to hear. There's no conclusion to this. This was just a channeling that came through from a new person, and his name is Dagmar, and he called himself the Messenger of Light and Secrets. And last Friday, he came through, and I was watching television with Chris and Laverne. I didn't recognize the energy, but I kept hearing a voice say, think Danish, because I am Danish. And so as soon as I heard that, I heard his name come through as Dagmar. I had a cousin named Dagmar, which triggered this energy's name. And this is what he said. Hello, I am Dagmar, Messenger of Light and Secrets, and I have come to give only you a message that you will reveal on air in the future. You will know it is I that is conveying the message because you will feel an itching sensation, and I will say, greetings, this is Dagmar, the spark of information. I asked him if he was a Viking or a god, and he said, no, we are not all Vikings, nor are we all gods. I have never been born, or as you call it on earth, born. No, I am not a clone. I exist as I have always existed. I call all my brethren family. They are all my brothers, sisters, children of earth. I was a spark, not a birth. My form is electric, but solid, and I deliver information and messages to people that are safe. And I assumed he meant we were living in a safe zone. That's what I got from it. And in your terms, hugs and kisses from the powers that be. And I started to worry about how I would deliver this upcoming message. And then he said, do not fret, dear one. It will come natural, and as you say, a bell will go off and the words will flow. You are all loved and recognized by the light, but this one, dear one, is all yours. My best friend is M or Michael as my surname. You are all part of M. M stands for molecular, cellular, solid. We like to refer to it as mankind or multitude or multiverse or mass convergence. I choose to help all kinds, just not mankind or womankind, but all creatures of the earth and the multiverse. M equals messenger and or what you would call angel. I am not a watcher, but I relay important news or information to the appropriate earthborn messenger. We, as me, which is strange, we generate our bodies after the event that is fatal, and whether it's after they die. But we prefer not to interrupt our cellular structure, but we will do it if it is required. We will eventually do it for all beings here and everywhere in the future. That is my message.
It's me.
And then he said, enough is said, maybe too much. Be patient, and time will come when I will help reveal the message. Dagmar out. And that was it. And so he hasn't come back with any further messages, but I thought that M being molecular, cellular, solid was kind of interesting. So just put that out there and see what anybody else thinks about that. Chris, have you heard from Dagmar?
Yes, he's actually here now, but I'm actually writing something down. I'll write down the one meaning of M there and see what he comes through with. Yeah, he was quite insistent that I not reveal that he was here until this very moment. He's been here the entire time, so I'm not sure which one of us he's actually going to come through here. So let's see, and he's
you.
Okay. Yeah, I know he was wanting you to speak about that first, saying that the message itself was all yours. So let's see what he has to say here. And his vibration is quite high. He is, I'm not sure which density, This is like off the charts. This isn't even of the known 27 densities that are out there. This is something different. It's like he's from outside the density chain here, and he says, we would call it that. He's saying he's outside of everything. This is how he's relaying it. He's both inside and outside, and he's kind of I don't know if he's joking doing this or not, but he's wearing a chest piece with the letter M on it, like a superhero, and it's in gold, and the chest piece itself is black and silver, and he's wearing almost the armor that he's wearing is almost like Roman attire. He's shaking his head that he said the Romans at first, when they first emerged, acknowledged him as not necessarily. Well, they would regard him as a deity, but he's saying, he's wanting to correct my historical. He says flub. He says it's pre-Roman Italian Etruscan culture. He's telling me. Okay. He's being very specific on historical period. And he's also pointing out another historical period in the Scandinavian countries. Sometime in the... he's trying to show me a year. Looks to be the Dark Ages, he's telling me, post-Roman Empire. He tried to help the Viking cultures move away from a dangerous imposter of Odin, but they wouldn't listen to him. They thought he was a false god. But the real false one was the other guy. Let me see. Not Odin himself. There was a fake Odin that was mentioned on this show a while back. And he's showing me another time frame where he attempted to stop the... interesting. He attempted to stop the United States government from ever forming. And he was unsuccessful because the same fake Odin had to do with helping form the United States. Okay. Let me see what else he has to say here. Okay. He wants to come through. All right. You get a drink? All right. See if he'll come through in the normal way here. Greetings. My name is Dagmar of the molecular cellular solid, as this one knows of, and dearest Katryna knows of. My friends, as it were, are known by many names. The one you know of as Michael or Mikhail is a friend of mine, as is the entire collective of M. But the reason I wear this mark of M is not to show as you humans say, a warrioristic stance. Quite the opposite. I wear it as a badge of honor, not necessarily pride, as you humans would call it, but to show my family lineage, as you humans would say, even though I have no discernible parent lineage as you humans have. As Katryna has just said, I have never been born into your form, but I have taken your form into your solid. Though there are very few beings that can actually accomplish this, I and my people have done this with, as you humans say, ease. But it was not always easy in our culture. Though I may appear Scandinavian in origin, I am anything but. The species that actually contributed to your Scandinavian DNA is very different. I just chose this form because that is what my energy coalesced as. I may look like a giant warrior that should be swinging a battle axe in some battlefield somewhere, but this is not the case. My molecular solid form dictates, or is dictated by the energy shape as this one knows us as. The energy shape is that of the coalescent form of sound in which the realm that I come from, is that of a wave of musical notes and musical inclinations and musical tones. These tones have passed to the energy, which then takes shape when I take solid form. In that instance, I looked as what you humans would call Viking or Scandinavian. This is why this one was confused and mistook me for one of the Nephilim or Anunnaki. This is anything but truth. My soul grouping, as it were, predates that of the Anunnaki, or the ones you know of as the ones with the elongated skulls. My grouping of M predates most soul groupings. This is not a bragging. This is a truth in your linear way of thinking. However, you cannot judge things by the length they have existed, but the quality in which they exist. This is not only what I have come to say, however, but I must also point out that this molecular solid, this cellular solid that this one and dearest Katryna knows about, was not always the case for us, and just as it is for you now. Humans are quite capable of this particular magic trick, as you humans would say. It is already beginning within your cellular structures. Not all gifts were given to you by your forebears, the Anunnaki. Some beings out there actually gave you things on a purely energy level, which then affected your genome. This is one of those gifts. The Anunnaki cannot all take credit for the organ regeneration or limb regeneration like the reptilians take credit for. Oh no, they are second in line and third in line when it comes to this particular gift. Again, not bragging. We are just taking credit of who was actually there first, which was actually us, the M grouping. This is not all I came to say, however. The technology that we are used to in our solid form is that of molecular bonding through electrical currents. This is something that humans are only just beginning to grasp by learning that the currents themselves are alive. This is not only our influence, but that of what humans would consider to be an all-father or an all-knowing and all-seeing, as you humans say, God. But it is a very antiquated and non-descriptive term of what that energy actually is. It is more or less an oversoul of creation, but it is also within each and every one of you, and with each and every other being in existence. This also includes beings of other paradigms as well, whether they know it or not. But I digress once again. This particular technology that exists in our safety bubble, as it were, is that of electricity. It may look like a lamp on your ceiling and a bulb. We can touch this and repair our cellular structures to a defaulted stage. You humans would call it returning to origin point or returning to 0 point. This is very easily done in meditation, but it may have a disorienting effect to people that are not well versed in it. This one knows it as the shard of origin, but it is more or less like restoring a computer to its default settings when the health of the device is no longer applicable to the projects that need to be created on it. This is just like your body. This is like our body. Every being within your universe, energy or not, has this capability. However, only very few species know of it. This regenerative capability begins with the 0 point and acknowledging and detaching yourself from all things dark. This does not mean that it disrupts the balance between your yin and yang. Quite the opposite. The dark that I am talking about has no place in your realm. It is an overage, as it were, as this one calls it, an unneeded spillage, as this one would say, or unneeded blackness. This was an extra amount after the occurrences that befell ancient Egypt and ancient Atlantis and ancient Mars, as you know it as. Its true name is Lumer, or eventually becoming Lumeria on your world. These ancient people knew virtually nothing of this effect, even though I attempted to teach this to them. The Pleiadians, the Syrians, and some of your Anunnaki or Orion souls are aware of this process in full. The Syrians have mostly embraced this technique because their cells can regenerate from a single cell. They could grow an entire body with even a single cell in existence. This is why when the threat of chaos endangered your world, they were so enamored with trying to get their person back from that of the depths of chaos, because if all the cells are lost, they felt that he was lost for good, even though they know energy does not die. It was merely his physical form, and he would have merely coalesced again in a few centuries. But I digress once again. Many other species are beginning to just grasp this, just as your species is. Even the Pleiadians have not completely grasped this concept, but some have, and there are some that are very much like my people, or as this one knows, his guide Simeon is of this breed of Pleiadian. However, he had a mother and a father, just like all of you humans do. However, there are a group of Pleiadians that are of a different classification, which are very much like myself. But in that instance, they too still had a parent figure. In this instance, I can actually honestly say that the source of all things is both my mother and my father. You would call it the source of mother and father. This is not the same as you humans interpret it, however. You humans have interpreted it as an almighty parent figure that is casting judgment down on all of you. There was one point this was true because two Anunnaki that were named mother and father both took on the roles of a judgmental set of parents and would not let their children experience life abroad in the universe. This has since been dealt with by many seers around your globe, so people can experience the true oversoul of the universe. Even the term oversoul is not descriptive enough to quantify this energy. Just know that it is within every single living being, every molecule, every flower, every animal, every tree, every planetoid, every sun, every bit of dark matter, every portal, every vortex, and every single nebula in existence. All of these waves coalesce and create new life wherever they go, be it energy or matter. This does not matter. All are one in this universe. My name is Dagmar, and I am concluding this transmission for this evening. Peace to all, and all is one in all things, under and within the oversoul of creation. Thank you.
Thank you. The group M, remember a while back, Chris, the group M came in on our pioneering call, too, and said that you didn't quite understand what M was yet. You learned a little bit more tonight. And the M group I call the Shekinah glory of God. It changes us. Anyway, thank you, Dogman.
Yeah, now he stepped back pretty quickly. He noticed that he was starting to tax my energy core, so he stepped back. But he's waving to everyone, and he's actually departing now.
Beautiful. That was great. Okay, what do you guys want to do next? Do you want to let Misty come in for a little break for you two, or you want to go finish up and then we'll do Misty at the end? It's up to you two.
Yeah, she can go. What do you want to do?
I think let Misty go.
Okay, yeah, we'll just do that.
If she's still here. Misty, are you still here? Just *6, Misty. We'll just check to see if she's here first, right? Misty! I'll check and see on the line. Okay, last call for Misty. Star 6, Misty. Sometimes she has trouble getting her phone unmuted. Okay, Misty, if you hear us, Star 6, we'll keep going with Kristen and Katryna, I guess. Maybe she had to go. Anyway, go ahead, guys. What's next? You two?
You have anything, Chris?
Let's see. I'll just see who's all here. Dagmar is going to be a tough act to follow here, but let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. It looks like Timon and who else? There's somebody with him, though. There's like some short being with him. I'm not sure who this is exactly. Looks short in comparison to him, I should say. It's some animal or something that's with him. I can hardly see it, but looks like a little ape or something like that that's with him.
Chris, he says his name is Barsa.
Barsa? I thought this was Timon that was in here.
Timon's here, but the animal's Barsan.
Barsan, okay. Yeah, he looks like a little monkey or some little being like that. Or like a tiny gorilla or something like that. Let's see. I'm seeing who wants to actually be channeled. Is it Timon or Barsan? Let's see. Looks like Barsan's actually the one walking up to me. He's about, I'd have to judge height, he's probably about 3 feet tall. And he's shorter than a leprechaun, it looks like. Let's see. Oh, okay. No, all he wanted to do was just sit on my lap for some reason. Okay. And he's just watching. Okay. Looks like Timon is going to want to be the one to come through. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. I'll see. He's coming in more slowly than Dagmar was. Okay. Oh, it looks like Barsan is actually here is more or less like a protector. And there are fairies here as well that look like they're doing that. And they're encircling me. And Timon is telling me that the transmission that I just projected with Dagmar was noticed by Xandar. So he says he's going to keep this brief. So he's saying, greetings, my name is Timon of the Orion Contingency, as this one would know as. I am one of many that guard this safe zone and many others around your globe. This little friend of mine, Barsan, he is as you would call, bloodhound that we took from Xandar when he attempted to come after this one. But this little animal, as people would know him as, does not wish to be around his former masters any longer. So he follows me around the safe zone and hangs out with me. He is very much like this one's little dog, Winston, but in a primate form. This little person, as others in my unit have called him, has been a great help tracking this individual down. This particular individual I will not mention again on this show because he does not deserve the limelight that others would give him, nor does he deserve the adoration that his family or his forebears, his bosses, would give him. But I will mention this about them. They are not the dumb thugs that this one afore thought. They are an actual imperial force out there in the universe that dictates where some of these draconian forces go. They are outside the empire of Draconis and exist in between the space between Earth and the constellation Draconis. They are on a space platform existing within two realms. You would call them parallel universes, They have mastered the art of transporting their entire space platform from sector to sector. But this was not of their knowledge and of their doing. They decided long ago that piracy was more applicable than actually figuring things out on their own. They decided to steal Pleiadian, Orion, and Sirian technologies and become one of the hyper-advanced races in the universe, not by our choice or our decision, however. This particular unit of Draco, as you would know them as this one would know as hyper-intelligent, but he is giving them far too much credit. But I digress. This safe zone in which he and others are within is non-penetrable by etheric forces such as the ones you know of as demons or drifting Arconian consciousnesses that go through the Arconian binary network, as this one knows as. But solid form Draco, such as Xandar and his bosses, can only pass into the safe zones for brief periods, such as a 24-hour period. Not even that for some of them. Sometimes it is more or less like 12 hours. But we are on watch all the time, as you humans say, 24/7, watching for these, as humans know, as bounty hunters. They are a different breed of Draco that can withstand higher vibrations, but they cheat. They use technology to enter into these safe zones, more or less like an astronaut would put a spacesuit on in space. This is a force shield that hums on a certain frequency that is indicative of their home world or the space platform on which Xandar came from. This is not going to be allowed at all once we grab hold of him. We have spotted him once before, but only when he has attempted to make contact with this one through telepathy and various other means with which I will not mention here. This is not to scare anyone into not ever going to a safe zone, quite the opposite. This is also not to scare anyone from traveling and going anywhere outside of safe zones. These beings have been around you since time immemorial, and it is time that their passage on your world is at an end. But this is something that I wish to touch on. They too are your brothers. They too are your sisters, even though they have acted out of color with that of the oneness and the law of one. This does not mean that it is applicable or warranted to go after them with force or violence. We do not do so unless it is absolutely necessary to do so. Xandar, it is in my belief that he is returnable to the good side. He is merely a child compared to the other Draconian that are out there of this hyper-intelligent, so to speak, species. He is merely an adolescent in their eyes, and is merely trying to impress them with his bravado, as you humans would say. This is something that we will be able to control, but it is not necessary to use force against him unless he forces us to do so. He, on the other hand, is what you humans would call a rookie or a newbie. He can be turned to the good side. It is his bosses that will take some doing. This is what I had to say on this subject, so I will pass over to another subject. Barson, the little monkey, as this one sees him as, is of the mindset of what all of you humans should attain. He has the mind and the heart of a child, and he merely was loving the person or the owner that he was with, be that Xandar or any other reptilian of his kind. This means that he is apt to love just anyone, no matter what, even though Xandar was not very kind to him. So he still tells me to this moment and every other moment that he sends love his way. So I am encouraging every human in a safe zone or not to fit this particular paradigm and not necessarily wanting to go off half-cocked, as you humans say, and go after any reptilian that you spot just because you think they are of mythology and you think they are of some kind of monstrous race. They too were ensnared by the ones you call the harvesters and by that of the soul traps. They too have been victims in their own way. But also, this brings me to another species that has been spoken of on this particular program in times past. It is a species this one knows as the Lancaneers, or your species would call them Archons. These particular beings, though they are quite arrogant and they are very difficult to deal with, most of them have surrendered to that of the oneness and have joined the alliances and the Galactic Federation that is out there currently. The ones that are on Earth that continue to act with such impunity of arrogance are the ones that are the rogues, very much like Xandar and his bosses on the space platform. These particular rogues also have done harm to your people and trying to dive your density, as it were, back to the third density of which they are accustomed to. This rule that I explained that Barsan is accustomed to also must apply to that of the Lancaneers and any of their remaining forces that are within the backstage, as this one calls it, around your world, along with many other reptilians, of which they consider just as peon as your race. They feel they are above everything. They have been here for centuries, and the ones that are here have no intention of leaving. They want to be driven off by force, because this proves to them that humans are a violent, apish species. They are the species that inducted into your society that humans somehow descended from ape kind. They descended this lie amongst the people because they believed primate species were of a lesser to their partial reptilian and equine species. This is not true. However, they are equal to everyone in creation, and this is something that some of them cannot quite grasp. This is what I came here to say tonight, other than the fact that the message that has been spread around quite readily within your shows recently is one that we honor greatly. Peace, love, and family. All else is noise. This is a very good phrase and must be spread to every corner of your world. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that last line of encouragement, and all what you two, Katryna and Chris and the Galactics that came in tonight, just like the big picture, it's kind of a smile on my face. All we have is rogues left. I mean, there's others, but it just shows you where we're at in the transition. Wow. What do you say, you two?
I say there's advancement made every day. The more people that listen and the more people that take the blinders off and really see the world for what it really is, and that we're all one. We're one universe, one God, one people, no matter what we look like, where we come from. And if we can raise that energy high on this earth and send it out to the universe, there is a future of the golden years or true peace. And I really, I want to thank you all for letting me on the show tonight and listening to what I had to say. I consider it a real honor to be on here. And I just want to wish you all joy, happiness, and don't pass over the blessings because they're around every corner. Just look for them. They'll find you.
That was good. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katryna. I enjoyed all what you had to say tonight. Thank you for honoring and bringing in what the Galactics brought and your venture to Arizona. Great. And what say you, Chris? How you been? What do you want to say?
Well, I think the guides tonight pretty much covered this. I agree with everything they said. You know, I had actually encountered this little ape person the other night. I was outside walking around at night, and I happened to hear some heavy footsteps behind me, and I felt a wind go past me. And then all of a sudden I see, with my third eye, I see this little ape being walking around with a leash behind him, like if somebody had accidentally let the dog loose. And then I was told that little being belonged to Xandar, and now apparently he's with Timon and the rest of them here. And I can actually see them all outside now. I can see all the guards outside. They're all facing this direction, and they have staffs in their hand that they are putting up a barrier even tighter. They have staves with little crystals on the ends of them, little spherical crystals, and they all have gems inside of them, and they're interlocking them together, and they are creating something. Let me see. They're creating a vortex, it looks like, around the house, and it's going up and it's raining down on the streets outside. And these beams that are coming down are actually gravitating towards the other zone edges of the safety zone to the technology that's activated them. And it looks like this particular beam is golden in color. It's not white like the safe zone is. And I'm looking outside all over the place, and it's also, there is something on the mountaintop nearby that it's reflecting to. It looks like a crystal, and there's a guard up there, and it looks like they're reflecting it through a lot of mirrors all over the place. It looks like they are reinforcing the safety zone with this golden cage on the inside. And let me see, what are they doing? I'm asking what they are doing. They said, people have earned the right to be within a safe zone that does not include the ones that want to do harm. They said this particular new interior will net any solid that is coming in, meaning beings like Xandar and anything or anyone like them. This includes anyone with attachments in them. They pass through this new interior, and it nets it and grabs it and sends it on its way when people pass through this. They said people will feel disoriented when they enter this new sphere or this new net. But this is another type of safe zone barrier that has now been devised at this very moment in time, and is going to apply to all safe zones, and is going to apply to all people that are leaving the safe zones to go places. So this will be with people. It becomes part of their matrices, apparently. And this negates any attachments, and this particular procedure seems to be permanent in nature. So, and anyone wishing to leave a safe zone to go elsewhere is also protected. This doesn't mean you bring down your internal protection. This is quite the opposite. In order to honor external protection, you always must keep your internal protection intact. That's not what I'm saying. It's not like you have to let your guard down or anything like that. This is interesting that this would take place. And there is another being that has emerged from this. He looks to be quite tall. He looks to be like he has white hair all over. He looks like a Sasquatch. So I'm going to see who this is. And he waved me down as I was looking at the safety zone coming up. And he says, I'm going to see what his name is. He says his name is... okay, this is one that I actually met before. I'm not sure why he has white hair. Okay, now he's showing me what he looks like in the wooded areas. He's just showing me that he had light around him. He's actually brown, and he's one that I encountered up on some butte here in Prescott the other day. He calls himself Sufas, and he says he is one of the protectors of the area. So does he want to speak? Okay, yeah, he wants to speak. Okay. Greetings to you all. My name is Sufas, and I am an Anakim guardian of this area of the world, otherwise known as Prescott, Arizona, and I am what you humans would know as Sasquatch or Bigfoot. But I am going to say to you now, anyone entering this zone is also duly watched by my kind. We are also guardians of nature. So, as such, we do not let the imbalances that humans bring forth corrupt that of nature. We do not allow pollution here, nor do we allow anything to be taken from the safe zone without prior permission and without prior pre-planning of what you will leave in return for taking from nature. I know it is in your nature to, say, pick up rocks or pick up sticks pine cones and the like, because they look pretty and you may want them. But in this instance, I must insist on one thing. Anyone entering within my domain must leave something behind that they intend to take. Leave a stone, leave some kind of offering to nature, something indicative of nature, such as something made of wood, made of stone. No metals, though. This causes a form of pollution that is unknown to humans, since metals in your culture are manufactured in an industrial fashion. But I will digress. What I mean by natural would be quartzes, stones, wood, and other things like leather or hide or any of those type of things that you make into offerings for nature, such as feathers and the like. The native cultures from long ago understood this concept. What you take, you must also give back. The people of your culture in the century are unaware of such concepts, with the exception of very few people. Some people believe they are honoring the concepts, but when in fact they do not. I am not casting judgment, quite the opposite. I am just saying, entering my domain with my other brother Anakam, and you will also feel our presence. You will also feel that of nature, and you will feel the balance of give and take. This is what I came to say in this instance, since this one invited me to talk through him on these intermediary mediums. But I also wish to say that my brother Anakam and my sister Anakam may seem judgmental and may seem harsh. Quite the opposite. It is the fact that we've had to clash with humans for centuries now over these very subjects. So we've established a set of rules that must concur with all beings, great and seemingly small. This is what I have come to say this evening. Thank you, and blessings to you all.
Thank you. I have a question. Since we were challenged last Monday with ask the Galactics, they said 50-50, leave the cost to them. The purple amethyst, is that what that was, amethyst?
Mm-hmm.
So I did my best to ask for that, and then I had just imagined that I laid them out in a triangle and asked for the power of 3, for safe zone, what they said to do. Just wondering if I did okay. And I'm just asking for everybody else, if they did it. If it worked out.
Yeah, I'm getting. They're beginning to head. All the guides that are here are beginning to head nod like a bunch of bobbleheads. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're saying yes.
So I simply did the 50-50, you guys. I asked, and I pictured the purple amethyst, and then I imagined I got them from them, and you can imagine, but I believe I got them from them, and I have faith I got it from them, and I virtually just pictured myself walking them and placing them along the land, and asked in the power of 3 what they said on the show last week. So you guys take that into consideration too. We're learning about sacred zones this week. Great. Mm-hmm. It's another change, another big change in this transition. Anybody have any questions, comments really quick? And is Misty there? The room's open too. *6, you guys that are listening. You're with us. Your family. All the family. Anybody questions? All right. Wow. Good stuff, everybody. Well, I guess that's enough to make our diamonds sparkle this week. Even brighter. Add a few more facets on. Until tomorrow, Voices from the Alternative World, and Wednesday, Katryna will be on, and Thursday, Cynthia's show. No, you don't want to miss any of those. Keep shining, diamonds. Love ya. Unless Chris and Katryna or anybody. Are you guys done?
Yes, that's all I have.
Yes. Yeah, that's all I have tonight, too, yeah.
Okay, I love y'all, Diamond Council and family, all of you guys listening, everybody, every single person. Galactics, beings, love you. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.